Today is a very special video, a video of its own kind. Today, I want to take you through the process of me writing one of my favorite worship songs, a song that ministers to my soul, a song that I wrote in Kiswahili language, a song that is full of my testimony, that explains my life quite well, but just a fraction of my life. I want to give you a story of that song titled SITASAHAU ULIKONITOA.
SITASAHAU ULIKONITOA, Baba. SITASAHAU ULIKONITOa, Baba. Mimi sitasahau.
Those are Swahili words meaning I will never forget where you brought me from. That is the English translation of the particular song. SITASAHAU ulikonitoa Bwana. Hey, me. SITASAHAU ulikonitoa Bwana. So with me, I have my laptop here, which will help me with the lyrics. Nowadays, we are in a modern world. We use laptops. A long time ago, we used to use books as such. As you can see, this is my songbook. I don't know whether it's going to reflect, but I have songs that I wrote from the year 2009 here. This one is Tingamalo. I wrote that Tingamalo, Baba Tingamalo. These are songs that I did long time ago, before some of you even were born. Saa zingine, hey, na feel Nicolo. Saa zingine, mama na feel niko lonely. Those are songs that I wrote of during those days. Wow, like I open this book and I see a lot of memories. So many songs that have made me who I am today. I wrote them in this booklet that you see. I have so many songs. All right. This was actually my third songbook in life. Others, I don't know why they got misplaced. I also have a glass of warm water here to help me with my vocals. Warm water is very important for every artist. It helps open the voice box and makes your voice become smooth, so that when you want to sing in soprano, you can sing freely. When you want to sing in alto, you can also sing freely. Listen to this song. SITASAHAU ulikonitoa, Baba.
Hallelujah. Kama si wewe Yesu ningekuwa wapi? Baba. SITASAHAU ulikonitoa Bwana.
I will never forget where you removed me from.
SITASAHAU ulikonitoa mimi SITASAHAU ulikonitoa Baba. SITASAHAU ulikonitoa Baba. Mimi sitasahau ulikonitoa Baba. Kwenye shimo la magonjwa Yesu, kwenye umasikini Baba, kwa sababu ya mali ya dunia.
And we land on the first verse. Before the first verse, let me give you a short story of what drove me into writing this particular song. I remember the year very well was in 2016. It was just a few days to election, the year of election 2017, when people were supposed to be voting. I had a problem. I was so broke, I was suffering, and I was going through a very tough life in my life. Actually, it was very tough for me. I remember I was homeless for some time. I kept on knocking from door after door, asking for food, asking for accommodation, asking for shelter. It was quite a tough moment in my life. And thank you to all people who came through for me at that particular time. And even those who chased me away, I still appreciate you, because you made me be who I am today. If you never sent me away, maybe I wouldn't be where I am today. Because today I'm talking about the story in music. So, I wanted to be a musician. So I left my home, Mfangano Island. I come from Fangano Island, one of the smallest communities in Kenya, deep in Lake Victoria. That is where I come from. So I wanted to be great, and I really wanted to be famous, and I wanted to be a superstar. So I asked myself, what can I do to become the superstar now that I don't have educational papers? So I decided to leave my home to go and try life in town. And the first town that I landed in was in Kisumu town. In Kisumu, I made a few connections quickly, and I managed to find myself staying with two brothers. And this family was just a lovely family because they hosted me while I was staying there. They fed me, they gave me a roof over my head, and I just loved it. So while I was staying with them, I decided to get a job for myself because I felt like, no, at my age, I can't be fed, I can't be done for almost everything. It's time I have to man up and find something for myself to do. I remember it was on January of 2017. So I talked to one of these brothers who was owning a security firm in Kisumu, and he kept me close. He kept me so close because he loved how I was working with him. I was somebody who was so honest. And one thing I loved and I always grew up in life doing was being accountable. I love accountability. I'm not somebody who's a waster. Some people, you call me mean, some call me too economical. I don't care as long as I have to maintain my integrity. So this friend of mine who was hosting me was having a security firm where he employed security and guard officers who used to guard different places such as schools, supermarkets, you know, private homes and businesses. Now, when I told him, bro, I just want you to give me a job because I appreciate the fact that you feed me, you give me a place to sleep, and you appreciate my efforts. Just give me something to do at least so I can put food on my table. My brother gave me the work of a supervisor. So once in a while, I would move around with him with the security car. We would walk on stations to see where our guards were actually employed to work. So we would go there during night hours, and during day hours also we will visit the guards who work or who guard during the daytime. I did that with a lot of honesty until he felt that he trusted me so much. He promoted me and made me actually be in charge of paying all these guards. So whenever the month ended, in Kenya we pay after 30 days. That is when salary comes. After every 30 days, I would assemble all the security guards together in front of our office, and I would pay each and every one of them depending on the particular work and the number of days they had worked. So if you worked faithfully, you get your full salary. If you worked maybe half days and some days you didn't come, we will do the subtractions and just give you money according to the days that you worked. During this time, we worked well with all these security guards, and they were just loving it, and it was just good. We were running on smoothly. But again, my salary was not quite much. I wanted more salary that I could that could sustain me for the whole month as I wait for the next bunch of salary. While I was making these carpets, I got a very good customer in Nairobi. So I would make my carpets from Kisumu and send them to my client in Nairobi. In return, I would sell one carpet at 6,000 Kenyan shillings. I remember I made a total of 7 carpets, of which I sold to the same client. He loved my work so much, so much, until he asked me one day, just a simple question, Devance, apart from making these beautiful mats, what else do you have to do with your life? What do you want to do with your life? That question was abrupt, like I wasn't expecting it. And I told him I want to be a musician. So when I told him I want to be a musician, he got excited. He said, can you sing? And I said, yes, I'd even recorded a few songs before, but I gave up because music requires a lot of money, and everything that involves music, you cannot continue without money. And he got touched. He told me, how much is it to record an album? That found when I'd already spoke to one producer that I loved. His name is John Okidi. We spoke, and I told him, if God opens doors for me, I would love to come to your studio to record an album of 8 songs. And you're going to charge me this particular amount. And he said, That was too little. We tried negotiating and we agreed on 42,000 Kenyan shillings to record 8 songs for my first album, or maybe second album, let me call it so. So I told this client of mine, there's a studio that I know that has recorded superstars and brought out very great musicians. We spoke to the producer and we agreed on 42,000 Kenyan shillings. That is equivalent to 420 US dollars. So after speaking, this person surprisingly asked me for the number of the producer, of which I freely gave out the number of the producer. And the producer called me the following day to inform me that money was paid for me to go and record my music. Wow!
Sitasahau ulikonitoa baba. Sitasahau ulikonitoa baba. Mimi sitasahau.
Just like that, like Devance, come to Nairobi and start recording your music. Your bill has already been settled. I wanted to know more about the person who paid for my studio. And I tried interrogating him, asking him, bro, why did you do this for me? And he told me it's the doing of the Lord. Like God led him to doing that. Like he had no peace. He felt like I'm doing this job, but I don't look like this job and I can be a better person. Like he felt like he didn't have the peace. Trust me, you guys, when I tell you that I've never, to date, I've never met this person. I've never even seen his own image because on his WhatsApp, he doesn't have a profile photo. And how did we meet? We met through Facebook, while I had already made my mats and posted them on social media for people to see, admire, and make their orders. That is the way we met. I just found a pseudo account that texted me and told me they're interested in my carpets. So I make the carpets from Kisumu, send them to Nairobi where he sells and kept the money for me to actually record. So out of the 7 mats that I made for him, imagine each mat I used to sell for him at 6,000 Kenyan shillings. So when I multiplied 6,000 times 7 mats that I made, it is equivalent to 42,000 Kenyan shillings that was used to pay for my studio expenses. Look at the way God works. Just like that, God did a miracle for me. Like I was making money for my own music recording by selling these mats that ended up paying for my music studio. God bless you so much. Even though you never want to tell me who you are or what, God thank you. So I had to organize myself how to go to Nairobi and start recording my songs. I had to find a way. I shared with my brothers who I used to stay with and work with. I told them I've found somebody who has paid for my studio, the whole bill, and so I have to go to Nairobi and record my music. There was no family that was happier than these people that I was staying with. They were so happy for me. They felt, they pumped me with so much joy. They said, Devance, you're going to Nairobi, you're going to record your first album. I said, yes, I'm going to record. Actually, it's my second album. And they were so excited and they told me, do you have where you're going to stay? I said, I don't have yet, but I can talk to my uncle who stays in Nairobi because his house is close to the studio. Maybe he can host me. So I talked to my uncle. My uncle agreed to host me for 3 weeks. And I told them, and these people gave me a clean 12,000 Kenyan shillings to go and use as pocket money as I stay in Nairobi. Where? And that is the way I came to Nairobi. Like they gave me $12,120 US dollars. And that is the way I came to Nairobi. I started recording my songs. Now, when I went to studio, I had several songs that I had written down on my music books. As you can see, this is my handwriting. I've written in red, some are in black. I've written so many songs. Wow, Mungu tusaidie, Mungu tuokoe. But today, I'm not going to talk about the other songs. I'm going to talk about this particular song titled Sitasahau Ulikonitoa Bwana. I've not released it on YouTube yet, but after this video, I will release the song. I hope you like it. I hope it will bless you. I hope it will minister to you. I've taken long to release the song because it was specifically ministering to me. It is my story. Every time I listen to it when I'm in the house, I get encouraged. Now, I had to go to studio, but for you to go to studio, you have to have songs. You have to have a script of what you're going to do in studio. So my first day in studio doing this song, I went to the studio. After writing a few words that were not making sense at that particular time, but I went to studio with what I had. In studio, the first thing that happens is an introduction with the producer. I introduced myself to the producer liked me, and we shared much, we joked a lot, and he made the environment conducive for me. So I had to start doing my first recording. So he told me, first we are going to start with what we call programming. Now when we talk about programming, this is the creation of beats and instrumentals for a particular song. It's the creating of beats from scratch. You sing, the producer listens to you, and he comes up with beats, or rather instrumentals. So I sang my song. The producer asked me, give me the chorus of the song, and I started. SITASAHAU ULIKONITOA Bwana. Just slowly like that, repeatedly. SITASAHAU ULIKONITOA Yesu. And the producer was like, wow, what an emotional song. Why did you write that song? And I explained why I wrote the song depending on the life that I had lived before or previously. So we started creating the beats, and slowly by slowly we had the beats itself, the beats of the song. Glad I had the beats, and this is how the beats actually sounded without the vocals. So basically guys, these are just beats without any wordings. We call them instrumentals. As you hear, that is the instrumental of the song SITASAHAU ULIKONITOA. The beats were kind of made to sound like a worship song, a song that can soothe, can touch souls in church. Beats that are heavenly, that can be used for worship. The beats are kind of R&B and soul music. I loved them, and I thought, wow, I have to come up with the best lyrics for this song. But before lyrics, I had to come up with a very good chorus. And the chorus was SITASAHAU ULIKONITOA Bwana. And after I'd written this chorus, I had to find a backup artist who could help me with more skills to put it as a chorus. And so I looked for contacts of different artists, and I found one great backup artist known as Sarah Brenda. I invited her to studio. I paid for the session that we had together, and she sang, she placed her vocals in the song. And when after placing the vocals, this is how it was without the solo part of the song. So that is only the chorus. I will never, never, never forget. That's what I'm talking about. I will never forget where the Lord brought me from. So once I had this chorus and I had the beats, I had to think of how to write the verses. And that is where this book came through. I wrote the verses on this book from the first verse to the second verse and the final chorus. The song has two different choruses. It has the first chorus which says SITASAHAU ULIKONITOA, I will never forget where you got me from. And the second chorus that talks about appreciation. Asante, asante. So I had to come up with verse 1. I had a struggle when it came to writing the verses of this song. So I was like, what can I talk about in this song? I was so stranded. I struggled a lot. I thought day 1 went, day 2 went, day 3 went. A whole week I still don't have an idea of what to write about this song. And then one day I was sleeping. As I was sleeping in my uncle's house, I used to sleep on some chair, a 3-seater in his sitting room, because all rooms were occupied at that time. So as I was sleeping on this chair looking at the roof, I just thought, why Devance? Why not talk about the life that you lived before, that life that you are talking about in the streets, when you are homeless, you had nowhere to go to. And I said, correct. And I picked a pen and a paper, and I started writing. Kwenye mapipa ya takataka ndipo nilipata chakula changu, mavazi ya matambara nilivaa kuzuia uchi, nililala kwa gunia, wakati mwingine kwa sakafu. Niliomba sana, nilipigwa sana, nililia sana. Nashukuru Mungu aliyaona machungu yangu. Nashukuru Mungu alisikia kilio changu. And I managed to write verse 1 of my song. There was a lot of rubbing and a lot of cancellation before I came up with that verse that flows consistently. And so I had the verse, and that is how I created verse 1 of the song, which connects to the chorus. Let me try singing it for you so that you can hear the musical part or aspect of it. So after the first chorus, we have the first verse. Warm water. Kwenye mapipa ya takataka ndipo nilipata chakula changu, mavazi ya matambara nilivaa kuzuia uchi, nililala kwa gunia, wakati mwingine kwa sakafu. Niliomba sana, nilipigwa sana, nililia sana. Nashukuru Mungu aliyaona machungu yangu. Nashukuru Mungu alisikia kilio changu. Mimi sitasahau. If you listen to that song, that is how I came up with verse 1 of that particular song. I'm sorry, I'm recording with not a powerful studio microphone, and that is why you might hear some lagging in the vocals. It's okay. But after that, I went to studio and recorded this song. So when I went to studio and recorded this song, this is what I came up with. And that verse that I've just sang, this is how it appears with the vocals of the solo leader. It's smooth and organized.
Kwenye mapipa ya takataka ndipo nilipata chakula changu, mavazi ya matambara nilivaa kuzuia uchi, nililala kwa gunia, wakati mwingine kwa sakafu. Niliomba sana, nilipigwa sana, nililia sana. Nashukuru Mungu aliyaona machungu yangu. Nashukuru Mungu alisikia kilio changu. Sitasahau ulikonitoa.
Guys, that is the way I wrote the first verse, and that is the way I recorded it in studio. As you hear, the studio version is a little bit organized, well balanced. The vocals are balanced with the instrumentals, and that is the way I wrote this song. And then later I moved to verse 2. Now, maybe to those of you who are watching me and don't understand Kiswahili, what the verse basically means is, I was talking about my life while I was struggling and suffering. It says, kwenye mapipa ya takataka, in those dustbins and pits where people threw waste materials, that is where I found my food. That is where I got my food. I used to dress in littered clothes that were so torn and worn out just to protect me from nakedness. I slept on a sack and sometimes on the bare ground. I begged so much. I was beaten by people and I cried in a lot of pain. But I thank God because He saw me with His merciful and graceful eyes. I thank God because he heard my cry. And then we join in the chorus. I will never forget where the Lord brought me from. And guys, that is the way I wrote my song, SITASAHAU ULIKONITOA, a worship song that ministers directly to me, a song of testimony, a song that I use to praise God. God has been faithful to me, and he can be faithful to you too. God has connected me with people who are total strangers, and I have seen total strangers help me in places where my own relatives were supposed to help me. I've seen people who we are not even related at all rescuing me from the difficulties and challenges I was going through. Sorry. And so I believe help is divine. It doesn't have to come from that direction where you hope it will come from. God works in ways we cannot understand. God will send you destiny helpers that will come into your life unknowingly, like you don't know where they've come from. They will come from different nations and different cities and different towns. Some of them you will not even know them by their name, but God will send them specifically because of your story, because of your testimony, to help you get through your dream or destiny. I've seen God work in mysterious ways. My life is a testimony, and I know you have your own testimony too. Feel free to share with us your story anytime you want to. Feel free to contact me. You can reach me through email or my phone number. You can support the channel financially through prayers. Share the videos and let's grow together. I'm so grateful I've done this video for you. I didn't plan to do it, but I've done it anyway. SITASAHAU ULIKONITOA will soon be on YouTube, probably as soon as possible. And I hope you like the song. I hope you'll make it as your skiza tune. I hope you'll bless your chorus. And I hope the song ministers to you. May the glory of God be seen on that particular song. Every song that an artist writes has a very big story behind it. Every song, there is a message behind every song that every artist writes. I wish I would do this for you on all my songs so that you get to understand why I wrote a particular song, why I recorded the song, why I released the song into public, and why some of my songs never ended up in the public domain. Until next time, my people, I hope to see you again. Keep safe. This is Devance Empire. Always work hard and be nice to people. And remember that nothing is impossible. This is Devance Empire. End of discussion.
Mimi sitasahau.